page 13.1. Political Science, Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements. Governments in any polity, including democracies, work through an army of public officials, usually called bureaucracy. Bureaucracy plays an important role in administration and in the formation of policies, and in the process has become a power block in itself. Its role has considerably increased with the state taking upon itself the task of welfareism and development, adding problems of labor and lifestyle. It is in the light of this that social movements have come up, some old and some new. 1. Bureaucracy. 1a. Bureaucracy in general, originating from the word bureau within inverted comma and used from early 18th century France. Bureaucracy refers to a writing desk, that is, a workplace where the officials work. Traditionally, the term within inverted comma bureaucracy was used in a perverted sense, the rule of the officials, self-serving rather than serving the society. Weber, within bracket, 1864 to 1920, bracket closed, gave the term a positive meaning. Modern democracies arose as the governments grew large during the modern period, especially after the Industrial Revolution. With the multiplication of the functions of the governments, there has been the expansion in the number of officials, as also in the rules and procedures. The growth of industrial societies, either in capitalist nations or in the so-called socialist nations, have made scholars talk about the convergence thesis, which has been subsequently developed into managerialism by James Barnham. Whatever the ideological stances, real or fictitious, all industrial societies are being governed by a class of managers, technocrats with technical administrative skills. Within bracket see Barnham, the managerial revolution, bracket closed. Weber's contribution in the field of bureaucracy was outstanding. What was regarded as, within inverted comma, dirty, suggesting red tape, inefficiency and officiousness, came to be seen as the rational product of social engineering. For Weber, the term bureaucracy was inseparable from the term rationality, rationality being 1. Functional specialization, 2. Clear lines of hierarchical authority, 3. Expert training of manager, 4. Decision making based on rules. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements. 1. Bureaucracy, page 13.2. Referring to the attributes of bureaucracy, Weber indicates A. Impersonality, B. Concentration of the means of administration, C. A leveling effect on social and economic differences, and D. Implementation of a system of authority that is practically indestructible. Indestructible. There are 7 principles to be followed by bureaucratic organizations. According to Weber, these principles are: 1. Official business is conducted on a continuous basis. 2. Official business is conducted in strict accordance with the following rules. A. The duty of each official to do certain types of work is determined in terms of impersonal criteria. B. The official is given the authority necessary to carry out his assigned functions. C. The means of coercion at his disposal are strictly limited and conditions of their use strictly defined. 3. Every official's responsibilities and authority are part of a vertical hierarchy of authority with respective rights of supervision and appeal. 4. Officials do not own the resources necessary for the performance of their assigned functions, but are accountable for their use of these resources. 5. Official and private business and income are strictly separated. 6. Offices cannot be appropriated by their incumbents, within bracket inherited, sold, etc. bracket closed. 7. Official business is conducted on the basis of written documents, and the official in Weber's view is one who is personally free and appointed to his position on the basis of conduct. Next, who exercises the authority delegated to him in accordance with impersonal rules, and his loyalty is enlisted on behalf of the faithful execution of his official duties. Next, whose appointment and job placement are dependent upon his technical qualifications. Next, for whom administrative work is a full-time occupation. Next, whose work is rewarded by a regular salary and prospects of advancement in a lifetime career. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements, page 13.3. In a more specific manner, we may conclude the Weberian bureaucracy in its characteristics as follows. Division of labor. Authority and responsibility are defined very clearly and set out as official duties. Next, hierarchy of authority. Office positions are organized in a hierarchy of authority, resulting in a chain of command, or what is known as, within inverted comma, the scalar principle, bracket inverted comma close. Next, formal selection. Employees are selected on the basis of technical qualifications within bracket merits through formal examinations, education or training. Next, career managers. Managers are not owners of the units they administer, but professionals who work for fixed salaries and pursue within inverted comma careers within their respective fields. Next, formal rules. Administrators must function according to strict formal rules and other controls regarding the conduct of their official duties. These rules and controls would be impersonal and uniformly applied. Bureaucracy's role in administration is indeed significant. It carries out administration, offers policy advice to the ministers, for it alone possesses all information and data, articulates and aggregates interests, and seeks to maintain political stability within the system, especially in developing countries. Because of the significant role the bureaucracy plays, it not only asserts but also demonstrates its powers, oftenly its power exhibiting a tendency of being out of control. Because bureaucracy is another name of hierarchical administration with rules and regulations to be followed strictly, the evils of bureaucratic functions become obvious. Delaying tactics, delayed decisions and expenditure, mostly out of proportion, and the last, corruptive trends. Bureaucracy quotes, within inverted comma, when in charge, ponder, when in trouble, delegate, when in doubt, mumble, Jim Boren. Next, within inverted comma, bureaucracy is a giant mechanism operated by pygmies. Balzac, within inverted comma, hell hath no fury like a bureaucrat scorned. Milton Friedman. Next, within inverted comma, the only thing that serves us for the bureaucracy is inefficiency. An efficient bureaucracy is the greatest threat to liberty. McCarthy. Next, within inverted comma, bureaucracy, the rule of no one, has become the modern form of despotism. McCarthy. Next, within inverted comma, bureaucracy defends the status quo, long past the time when the quo has lost its status. Lawrence Peter. Next, within inverted comma, power once assumed are never relinquished, just as bureaucracies once created never dry. Inverted comma close. Charlie Rees. Next, within inverted comma, if we can ever make red tape nutritional, we can feed the world. Inverted comma close. Robert Chevery. 1b. Bureaucracy in India. Bureaucracy in India is largely the same as was set in motion during the British rule, following thus the Weberian model, a combination of generalists and specialists, hierarchical organizations functioning through set rules and procedures, and non-political, non-committed at work. There is a change in post-independent India. Bureaucracy seeking to perform duties in the development and modernization of the country, and in the process has moved towards committing itself to the political chiefs. To implement the program and policies of the political leadership effectively, bureaucracy as in India and elsewhere in the developing societies has to adjust itself and be responsive to the new tasks and challenges. In addition to the administrative functions like policing and revenue collection, bureaucracy is moving towards developmental administration. The concept of welfare test and developmental administration has radically transformed the nature of administration. Bureaucrat who is no more the lord but a public servant. The significant changes happening around since 1990 have led a change in the role of bureaucracy. The state now is withdrawing to give private enterprise a large share in economic activities. Bureaucracy is now becoming highly technocratic and highly professional. The state and bureaucracy are no more nanny. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements, page 13.4. 2. Development. 2a. Development is general. Development is a universal phenomenon. Universal in the sense that it is worldwide concept which means differently in different contexts. The Brandt Commission rightly observed within inverted comma, development never will be and never can be defined to universal satisfaction inverted comma close. For some, development means increase in national economy. For others, it implies social development. For still others, it is another name of modernization. The concept of development has numerous definitions and therefore has somewhat different, though interrelated meanings. Esman says, within inverted comma, development is the rational process of organizing and carrying out prudently conceived and staffed programs on projects as one would organize and carry our military or engineering operations. With inverted comma close. To comb and geyser, development means change coupled with growth. Widner holds the view that when a process is directed towards nation building and socio-economic progress, that process of growth is development. For Han Bin Lee, development is both a process and a purpose. He therefore says that development is within bracket comma a process of acquiring a sustained growth of a system's capability to cope with new continuous changes towards the achievement of progressive politics, economic and social objectives. Inverted comma close. Chaturvedi observes development as a process which stands for within inverted comma transformation of society, inverted comma close. Rix gives rather a detailed definition within inverted comma. Development involves the ability to choose whether or not to increase outputs, whether or not to raise levels of per capita income, or to direct energies to other goals, to the more equitable distribution of what is available, to achieve to aesthetic or spiritual values, or the qualitatively different kinds of outputs within inverted comma. Middleman refers to development as the increasing capacity to make rational use of natural and human resources for social ends. Barron says that development means within inverted comma far-reaching transformation of society's economic, social and political structure of the dominant organization of production, distribution and consumption, inverted comma close. These different definitions of development help us highlight a number of its features or implications. Some of these are: 1. Development is a dynamic concept and an ever-changing one, always evolving, always moving forward, always advancing. Two, it is not unidevelopmental but is multi-dimensional concept. This means that development is not only economic development, it is also social development. Its goals are not confined to economically merely, they touch every aspect of human and social life. They may, to mention a few, include economic growth, social progress and political development, nation building and the like. Development implies growth. What it means by development is that the progress of growth keeps growing. 4. Development implies advancement of technological progress. Development in technology leads to development in economy. 5. Development occurs in times of stability. Development seen in its economic dimension is associated with the maximization of outputs, economic growth, and in one word, economic development. Any nation, including the developed or the developing, has to view its agenda for development in its context of social, cultural, political, demographic, educational, institutional milieu. So, in economic terms, development would be a process when an economy is transferred from one whose rate of growth or per capita income is small or negative to one in which a self-sustained rate of increase of per capita income is a permanent long-run future. Within inverted comma, Edelman, Theories of Economics, Growth and Development, 1961. Numerous theories of development are usually referred to. Page 13.5. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Management Movements. The classical development theory is associated with Smith, Ricardo, Malthus, Mill and others. Its assumptions are: 1. That a country's population increases invariably with the increase of some, within inverted comma, minimum standard of living of the people. 2. Any increase in population would have, within inverted comma, diminishing returns, inverted comma, close, in the sense that labor would increase with the increase in population. The theorists of this approach believe that agricultural land is a fixed factor and that labor would increase with the relevant increase in the population. This is so because the number of people and the number of resources are in balance with each other. Any change in any of the two would lead to economic crisis, little or more. There is the stages approach theory advocated by the Marxists. Rostow offers yet another such theory, within inverted comma, politics and the stages of growth and the stages of economic growth. A non-government manifesto. Obviously, the two stages stand opposite to each other. Marx's main influence lies in the theoretical growth process: primitive society, slave-owning society, feudal society, capitalist society, as also his prophetic predictions that capitalism was bound to collapse, to be followed only by socialism and communism. However, the Marxian, within inverted comma, stages theory has not been able to convince many. Rostow's stages, as against the Marxian ones, are: 1. The new Newtonian traditional society, a society whose structure develops with limited production function, pre-Newtonian in the sense that we do not know the external world nor its laws, a society which is hierarchically structured and agriculture based, a society where power lay not as much with the central authority as with the, within inverted comma, region, within inverted comma, local, within inverted comma, man of land. 2. Societies in the process of transition, or those which have acquired the preconditions to take off, a kind of society which is in process of transformation, change in structure, politics and value, and one that is ready to grow at an expanded scale, a society which is like the aeroplane whose propeller starts roaring but the plane is still stationary. A society in Rostow's views. A society, I repeat, a society which is like the aeroplane whose propeller starts rolling but the plane is still stationary. A society in Rostow's views of West in the 17th, 18th centuries. A society where the old traditions are attacked, scientific developments are made, trade and commerce get flourished, the nation state is built. 3. The take-off stage, a type of society where the rate of national income rises from 5% to 10% or more. A society where there are numerous manufacturing sectors, each with a high rate of growth. A society with emerging political, social and institutional framework. A society which rose up in different countries of the West, relatively at different times. In Britain during 1783 to 90, in Germany during 1850 to 73, in India and China in early 1950s. 4. The drive to maturity. A society where with a massive and progressive structural transformation in economics, a society with 10 to 20% of national income steadily invested so to attain maturity in about 60 years, a society where Rostow's aeroplane is fully airborne and is flying at a certain height, a society with economy is refined and technologically more complex. 5. The age of mass consumption, a society where goods are produced in so large quantities and varieties that the consumers get what he wants in terms of goods and services, a society where the welfare state develops. Although Rostow's different stages seem logical within bracket, logical is within inverted comma, he does not indicate how nations actually experience pre-condition and take-off stages, nor does he justify the choice of these discrete stages. In one of the stages, he refers to the rise of 5% to 10% in national income. There is yet another stages approach to development known as the German historical approach. Some German scholars such as Friedrich List, Bruno, Hildebrand, Karl Bucher, Werner Sombart are associated with the approach. This approach emerged as a reaction against the English classical economists and their theories which emphasized the deductive methods and the formation of natural laws. It also rejects the British concepts of free trade and economic liberalism it advocated. A. The development experience of each country is molded by its historical circumstances, hence not subject to natural laws of economics. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements, page 13.6. B. The process of development based on actual data of different countries and after comparison evolving a theory of pattern. C. Interventionist policies pursued by different states under their different circumstances. The historical approach as advocated by the Germans were also referred to various stages of development. A brief description can be given below. A list: the savage stage, the pastoral stage, the agricultural stage, the agricultural and manufacturing stage, the agricultural, manufacturing and commercial stage. Hildebrand, natural or barter economy, money economy, credit economy. Bucher, the stage of independent domestic or household economy, the stage of town economy, the stage of national economy. D. Sombart, individual economy, transitional economy, social economy. The Garson-Kron theory of stages of development is yet another theory relating to numerous stages of development. Alexander Garson-Kron, within bracket, economic backwardness in historical perspective, 1965, explains that all development in a voyage from backwardness to economic growth, relative backwardness to relative economic growth. Less backward a country, less time it would take to attain economic growth. More backward, more time. He also says that development, depending upon the relative backwardness of a country, there are built corresponding institutions leading to the relative rate of growth. So for him, relative backwardness of a country works as an impetus for the creation of institutional framework in the course of its voyage towards economic growth, of course via industrialization. Accordingly, the degree of backwardness determines the stages that a country would pass through. A more backward country, more would be its stages. The Garson-Kron theory is important not as a theory of development, but as a theory relating to the rise of growth of during the rise and growth of industrialization. 2b. Dependency theory. Dependency theory is a body of social science theories built on the notion that there is a center of wealthy states and a periphery of poor and underdeveloped states. The notion further implies that resources keep extracting from the periphery and they keep falling towards the wealthy ones. It is believed that the poverty of the periphery states in the result of the wealthy states. The premises of the theory are: 1. Poor nations provide a destination of obsolete technology and markets to the wealthy nations, without which the latter would not have the standard living they enjoy. 2. For first world nations actively but not necessarily consciously perpetuate a state of dependence through various policies and initiatives. This is multifaceted, involving economics, needs, control, politics, banking and finance, education, sport, and all aspects of human resources development. Number 3, attempts by these dependent nations to resist the influences of dependency often result in economic sanction and, within bracket, or military invasion and control. Many dependency theorists advocate social revolution to effect change in economic disparity. Dependency theory first emerged as a reaction to liberal free trade theories in the 1950s, advocated by Rolf Prebisch, whose research with the Economic Commission of Latin America, within bracket ECA bracket closed, found that the wealth of poor nations tended to decrease when the wealth of rich nations increased. Paul Barth developed dependency theory more from Marxian analysis. The theory quickly divided into diverse schools. Some, like Andre Gunder Frank, adapted to a Marxian, within inverted commas, standard. Dependency theory differs sharply from Marxism however, arguing against internationalism and any hope of progress in less developed nations towards industrializations and liberating revolutions. Chapter 13, bureaucracy, development, social movements. 2b, dependency theory, page 13.7. Theodorenio dos Santos described a new dependency, within inverted commas, which focused on both the internal and external relations of less developed countries of the periphery, derived from a Marxian analysis. Former Brazilian President Fernando Henrique Cardoso wrote extensively on dependency, on the dependency theory while in political exile, arguing that it was an approach to studying the economic disparities between the center and the periphery. The American socialist Immanuel Waldstein refined the Marxist aspect of the theory and called it the within world system close. It has also been associated with Galton's structural theory of imperialism. How should the periphery states work out their strategy to relieve themselves from dependency? Interrogation. The following measures are suggested. 1. Promotion of domestic industry and manufactured goods by subsidizing and protecting industries within the periphery nations. These third world contains these are wrong. These third world countries can produce their own products rather than simply export raw materials. Import limitations. By limiting the importation of both luxury goods and manufactured goods that can be produced within the country. 3. Forbidding foreign estimate. Some governments take steps to keep foreign optimism. Take steps to keep foreign companies and individuals from owning or operating property that draws on the resources of the country. 4. Nationalization. Some governments have forcibly taken out. Some governments have forcibly taken over foreign-owned companies on behalf of the state in order to keep profits within the country. Page 13.7. 2C. Development strategy in India under Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements. 2C. Development strategy in India. After independence, India could choose neither a purely capitalist nor a communist development strategy because of the peculiar balance of social forces and the ideologies they represented. The general character of national movement was liberal centrists, and it was led by the urban middle class intelligentsia. The bourgeoisie had been an articulate section in the movement. In fact, it was the main financier of the Congress, and its influential presence ruled out a stringent socialist strategy. Moreover, the socialist influence, especially its communist variant, was virtually absent from the mainstream of national movement because of the somersault of the communists during the Second World War, which sent them into political wilderness. So in India, Nehru was the representative of Indian socialism in the pre-independence era. In the post-independence period, there was a distinct change in Nehru's socialistic leanings, and he gave first priority to production within a system of mixed economy in which the private and the public sectors were to coexist, and the latter was to attain, within inverted comma, commanding heights, inverted comma, close. For Nehru, socialism mainly meant planning, which he thought was necessary to obviate the anarchy of the markets, because Adam Smith's invisible hand did not always allocate resources conducive to the will of the majority of Indians. Now he repudiated the full-scale socialism which he had advocated earlier. The configuration of social forces and political pressures on Nehru had certainly diluted his concept of socialism. Prabhat Patnaik argues that in the heyday of Keynesianism, a relatively autonomous path of capitalist development was, within inverted comma, confused by the third world elite with a socialist path of development. In effect, the strategy envisaged was one of the statism which Circles Bethlehem rightly describes as state capitalism because it sought to consolidate the hegemony of the state over the social classes. With Nehru at the steering wheel, India set out her democratic socialist path of development, restoring in the process to plans early and 5-yearly in the process to plan yearly and 5-yearly since 1991. The shift towards privatization and liberalization has been quite clear, with positive results showering year after year. The mixed economy approach followed in India till 1990 did not produce the intended result. Growth rate declined successively. Licensing and control over private sector handicapped in its growth. Public sector began making losses. Government investment in public sector undertakings produced negligible results, though this type of development strategy enlarged our industrial base, reduced poverty rate, mobilized savings. Privatization and liberalization followed since 1991 has shown significant results. India's share in trade and goods in the world has increased. Trade relations with foreign countries have significantly improved, though foreign exchange reserves have improved. Foreign investment in the country has shown a heavy increase. Price rise rate is on the decline. Agriculture and industry have reached the expected levels. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements. Page 13.8. 3. Social Movements. 3a. Social Movements. Within inverted comma social movements, according to Oxford Concise Dictionary of Politics, inverted comma close, are change-oriented political formations using oftenly tactics such as direct action with loose and informal organizational structures. Inverted comma close. Within inverted comma inverted comma close, the dictionary continues. Within inverted comma are organized around ideas which give the individuals to adhere to the government, adhere to the movement, bracket close, new forms of social and political identity. Within inverted comma, Charles Tilly, within bracket, social movements 1968 to 2004, inverted bracket closed, defines social movements as a series of contentious performances, displays and campaigns by which ordinary people make collective claims on others. He says that through social movements, ordinary people participate in public offices. He refers to 3 major elements in a social movement. 1. Campaigns, a sustained, organized public effort making collective claims on target authorities. 2. Social movement repertory, employment of combinations from among the following forms of political action, creation of special purpose associations and coalitions, public meetings, solemn processions, vigils, rallies, demonstrations, petition drives, statements to and in public media, and pamphleteering, etc. 3. WUNC displays. WUNC displays. Participants concerted public representation of worthiness, unity members, and commitments on the part of themselves and or their constituencies. Sidney Tarot, within bracket, power of movement, collective action, social movements and politics, invert comma close, defines social movement as, within invert comma, collective challenges, within bracket, to elites, authorities, other groups or cultural codes, bracket closed, by people with common purposes, and solidarity is sustained in interactions with elites, opponents and authorities. Within inverted comma, social movements, inverted comma close, the term was introduced in 1850 by a German socialist, Laurent von Stein, in his book History of the French Social Movements from 1789 to the present, though Tilly claims that social movement did not exist before the late 18th century, stating that social movements were invented in England and North America during the first decades of the 19th century and had since then spread across the globe. The early growth of social movements was connected to broad economic and political changes, including parliamentarization, market capitalization, and proletarianization, while political movements that evolved in late 18th century, like those connected to the French Revolution and Polish Constitution on May 3, 1791, were among the first documented social movements. Tilly notes that the British abolitionist movement has, within inverted comma, some claim, inverted comma, close, to be first social movement, within bracket, becoming one between the sugar boycott of 1971 and the second great petition drive of 1806, within bracket closed. The labor movement and the socialist movement of the late 19th century are seen as the prototypical social movements, leading to the formation of communist and social democratic parties and organizations. In 1945, Britain, after victory in the Second World War, entered a period of radical reform and change. In the 1970s, women's rights, peace, civil rights, and environmental movements emerged, when often dubbed as new social movements. Some find in the end of the 1990s the emergence of a new global social movement, the anti-globalization movement. Some social movement scholars posit that with the rapid pace of globalization, the potential for the emergence of new type of social movement is latent. They make the analogy to mention movements of the past to describe what has been termed a global citizens movement. The process of urbanization and that of industrialization helped in the emergence and evolution of early economic and social movement. With the development of communication technologies and growth of universities, certain creation and activities of social movements became easier. The spread of democracy and political rights made the formation of social movements much easier. Occasionally, social movements have been involved in democratizing nations, though they have flourished more after democratization. Socialists have distinguished between several types of social movements. The chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements, page 13.9. Scope 1. Reform movements. Movements dedicated to changing some norms, usually legal ones. Examples of such a movement would include a trade union with a goal of increasing workers' rights, a green movement advocating a set of ecological laws, or a movement supporting introduction of a capital punishment or right to abortion. Some reform movements may advocate a change in customs and moral norms. For example, condemnation of pornography or proliferation of some religion. 2. Radical movement. Movements dedicated to changing value system. Those involve fundamental changes unlike the reform movements. Examples would include the American Civil Rights Movement, which demanded full civil rights and equality under the law of all Americans regardless of race. The Polish Solidarity within bracket Solidarność bracket closed movements which demanded the transformation of communist political and economic system into democracy and a capitalism, or the South African shack dwellers movement. Avalali Bes Jandolo, which demands the full inclusion of shack dwellers into the life of cities. Type of change. Improving movement. Movements which want to enable particular norms, values, etc. The singularitarianism movement advocating deliberate action to effect and ensure the safety of technical singularity is an example of an innovation movement. 2. Conservative movement. Movements which want to preserve existing norms, values, etc. For example, anti-immigration groups, the anti-machines 19th century Luddites movement, or the modern movement opposing the spread of the genetically modified plant could be seen as conservative movements in that they aim to fight specific technological changes. However, they are progressive in ways that movements that are simply being anti-change within bracket, for example, being anti-immigration bracket closed for the sake of it can never be. Target. 1. Group focused movements focused on affecting groups or society in general. For example, advocating the change of the political system. Some of these groups transform into or join a political party, but many remain outside the reformist party political system. 2. Individual focused movements focused on affecting individuals. Most religious movements would fall under the category. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements, page 13.10. Methods. 1. Peaceful movements, which are seen to stand in contrast to, within inverted comma, violent movements, but in reality rely on such force. American Civil Rights Movement, Polish Solidarity Movement, or Polish Solidarity Movement, or Mahatma Gandhi's civil disobedience movements would fall into this category. 2. Violent movements, various armed movements, which do not include terrorist organization, namely the Zapatista Army of National Liberation, Rote Army, Fraction, Rote Army Fraction, Fraktion. 3. Terrorist movements, Hezbollah, Basque Iskadi Ta Askat Suna, BASQUV, EUSKADI, TAASKATA SUNA. within bracket ETA or Provisional Irish Republican Army within bracket IRA movements. Old and new. 1. Old movements. Movements for change have existed since the beginning of society. Most of the 19th century movements fought for specific social groups within bracket such as the working class, peasants, whites, aristocrats, Protestants, men. They were usually centered around some materialistic goals like improving the standard of living or, for example, the political autonomy of the working class. 2. New movements. Movements which become dominant from the second half of the 20th century like the feminist movement, pro-choice movement, civil rights movement, environmental movement, free software movement, gay rights movement, peace movement, anti-nuclear movement, alter globalization movement, etc. So, sometimes they are known as new social movements. They are usually centered around issues that go beyond but are not separate from class. Range. 1. Global movements. Social movements with global objectives and goals. Movements such as the first, second, third and fourth internationals within bracket where Marx and Bakunin met, close, World Social Forum, the PGA and the anarchist movement seek to change society at a global level. Local movements. Most of the social movements have a local scope. They are based on local or regional objectives such as protecting a special natural area, lobbying for the lowering of tolls in a certain motorway or squatting a building about to be demolished for gentrification and turning it into a social center. 3. Multi-level movements. Social movements which recognize the complexity of governance in the 21st century and aim to have an impact at the local, regional, national and international levels. Some social movements have their dynamics. They are created, they grow, they succeed or they fail. Social movements exist everywhere, both in liberal as well as in authoritarian societies. They get polarized. They get polarized. There are the old social movements fighting for the material gains with the workers asking for them, the capitalists resisting them. There are the new social movements with differences about customs, values and the like, not just material aspect. Initiating event may give birth to a social movement as the civil rights movement in America, within bracket, whites reacting to a black woman Rosa Parks, within inverted close, or the police solidarity movement in Poland following the exclusion of a trade unionist. Police solidarity movement in Poland following the expulsion of a trade unionist. Anna Walentynowicz, Walentynowicz, as against this there is the volcanic model where a social movement is often created after a large number of people realize that there are others changing in the same society, same value and the desire of a particular social change. Some charismatic leader may help create a social movement while some outside elements make social movements possible. Diana Kendall, within bracket, Sociology in Our Times, in the bracket closed, has developed several theories with regard to social movement Chronologically, they are usually described as 1. Collective behavior within bracket collective action theories. Relative deprivation theory 1960s. 3. Next, value added theory 1960s. 4. Resource mobilization 1970s. 5. Frame analysis theory within bracket 1970s bracket close within bracket close related to social constructionist theory bracket close. 6. New social movement theory within bracket 1980s. 3b. New social movements. The term within inverted comma new social movements inverted comma close refers to those movements which have come up since mid 1960s. The new social movement theory looks at various collective actions, their identity and on their relations for culture, ideology and politics. These differ from the old in that A. They are concerned with non-material phenomena, B. They work for quality of life rather for merely life, C. They are cooperative and not conflicting, and D. They are followers oriented rather leader oriented, C. They are decentralized rather the centralized one. The new social movement include the women's movement, the ecology movement, gay rights movement and various speech movements among others. Thinkers have related these movements with the post-materialism hypothesis as put forth by Roland Inglehart. Important contributors in the field include sociologists such as Alain Chernin, Klaus Offe and Jürgen Habermas. Many of these movements tend to emphasize social changes in lifestyle and culture rather than pursuing for specific changes in public policy or for economic change. Some theorists argue that the key actors in these movements are members of the within inverted comma new middle class inverted comma close or service sector professionals within inverted comma such as academics inverted comma close. They are informal, loosely organized social network of within inverted comma supporters rather than members. Paul Birney described new social movements as within inverted comma relatively deorganized. Some of the new social movements can be summarized as can be summed up here as under. Page 13.11. Chapter 13. Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements, Environment Movement. It is a term which is also used to include the conservation and green movement. It is a diverse scientific, social and political movement which addresses the concerns of environment. In general terms, the environmentalists advocate sustainable management of natural resources. The movement is centered around ecology, health and human rights. Its base is very broad, including private citizens, professionals, statesmen, intellectuals and the like. Among its advocates we may mention Thoreau within bracket Weldon or Life of the Woods bracket closed and Marsh between 1830 to 1960. During the 1960s and 70s, mention may be made about Rachel Carson within bracket Silent Spring, Paul R. Ehrlich, the population bomb within bracket comma, and the like. The scope of the movement includes 1. The environmental movement is broad in scope and can include any topic related to the environment, conservation and biology, as well as preservation of landscapes, flora and fauna for a variety of purposes and uses. 2. The conservation movement seeks to protect natural areas for sustainable consumption as well as traditional, within bracket hunting, fishing, trapping, bracket closed, and spiritual use. 3. Environmental health movement dates at least to progressive era. The focus is on urban standards like clean water, efficient sewage handling, and stable population growth. Environmental health could also deal with nutrition, preventive medicine, aging, and under concerns specific to human well-being. Environmental health is also seen as an indicator for the state of the natural environment or any early warning system for what may happen to humans. Environmental justice is a movement that began in the US in the 1980s and seeks an end to the environmental racism and prevent low-income and minority communities from an unbalanced exposure to highways, garbage dumps and factories. The environmental justice movement seeks to link within social and within ecological environmental concerns, while at the same time preventing de facto racism and classism. 4. Ecology movement could involve the Gita theory as well as value of earth and other interactions between humans, science and responsibility. Deep ecology is often considered to be a spiritual spin-off of the ecology movement. 7. Bright green environmentalism is a currently popular sub-movement which emphasizes the idea that through technology, good design and more thoughtful use of energy and resources, people can have responsible, sustainable lives while enjoying prosperity. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements, page 13.12. Peace movement. It is a movement that seeks to achieve ideals such as the ending of a particular war, within bracket all wars, bracket closed, minimize interhuman violence in a particular place or type of situation, often linked to the goal of achieving world's peace. Means to achieve these ends usually include advocacy of pacifism, non-violent resistance, diplomacy, boycotts, more purchasing, supporting anti-war political candidates, demonstrations and lobbying groups to create legislation. The political cooperative is an example of an organization that seeks to merge all peace movement organizations and green revolutions. The Day of Silence for Peace hold rallies when participants wear a piece of white cloth across their mouths with peace written on it to symbolize their unity and readiness to change their world. Feminist movement. Within bracket, it is also known as the women's movement or women's liberation, bracket closed. It is a wrong campaign which focuses, wrong, I repeat, it is a strong campaign, it is a strong campaign which focuses on the rights of women. It started in 1862, held in Southern California. Women's movement campaigns for gender equality, women's identity and the end of women's exploitation. Numerous strands of feminism are working to produce positive results to end patriarchal dominance and bring about gender justice. 3C, social movements in India. Social movements have been well defined by scholars as endeavors which help bring social changes. The Blackwell Dictionary of Socialism defines social movement as, within inverted commas, sustained, organized and collective of effort that focuses on some aspects of social change. A social movement is not a revolt, for it does not challenge the political authority. It is not a rebellion, for it does not attack the existing authority with a view to capture political power. It is not a revolution, for it does not seek to change the social, political, economic foundations of the society. It is a sort of reform insofar as it seeks to bring a social change without changing the basic character of the society's fabric. Chapter 13, page 13. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements, page 13.13. It would be instructive to highlight major social movements in India, both of past and present. A. Socio-religious reform movements. Reform movements are movements which are organized to carry out reforms in some specific areas. Usually, such movements use legitimate means within the large framework of the society and without disturbing the existing framework. The Brahmo Samaj movement led by Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Arya Samaj movement by Swami Dayananda Saraswati, Aligarh movement by Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, Tablighi Jammat movement by Maulana Ilyas, and Ramakrishna Mission movement by Swami Vivekananda. The Theosophical Society movement by Madame Blavatsky and Honorable Olcott are some examples of social religious reform movements of 19th century India. B. Reactionary or revivalist movements. Some movements are known as reactionary or regressive movements. These aims to reverse the social change. They highlight the importance and greatness of traditional values, ideologies and institutional agencies. They strongly criticize the fast-moving changes of the present. C. Utopian movements. These are attempts to take the society or a section of it towards a state of perfection. These are loosely structured collectivities and evasion a radically changed and blissful state, either on a large scale at some time in the future or on a smaller scale in the present. The utopian ideal and the means of it are often vague, but many utopian movements present. The utopian ideal and the means of it are often vague, but many utopian movements have quite specific programs for social change. The Hare Krishna movement of the 70s, the movement towards the establishment of Ram Rajya and the Sangha Parivar, the communists and socialist pronouncement of a movement towards the casteless society free from the kinds of exploitation, etc. D. Peasant movements. Peasant movement is a movement led by the peasants which seek facilities and concessions so to better their lot. The history of the peasant movements in India can be traced to colonial period when repressive economic policies, the new land revenue system, the colonial administrative and judicial system, and the ruin of handicrafts leading to the overcrowding of land reformed the agrarian structure and improvised the peasantry. Peasant movements occupy an important place in the history of social unrest to India, though the aims movements occupy an important place in the history of social unrest in India, though the aims and objectives of these movements differ in nature and degree from region to region. It is in this sense that these movements also aimed at the unification of the peasant of a region, development of leadership, ideology, and a peasant elite. Through these movements emerged a new power structure and peasant alliance. The genesis of peasant movements rests in the relationship patterns of different social categories existing within the framework of feudal and semi-feudal structure of our society. In the post-independence period of in the post-independence period, the nature and objectives of these peasants' movement have changed for getting remunerative prices for agricultural produce, to increase agricultural production, to establish parity between pieces of agricultural produce and industrial goods, and to get minimum wages for the agricultural laborers. Some of the peasants' movements, including uprising, can be stated as follows. Sannyashi Rebellion, 1770. Wahhabi Uprising, 1841. I repeat, Wahhabi Uprising, within bracket, 1831. Santal Uprising, within bracket, 1855. Indigo Revolt, within bracket, 1859. Punjab Kisan Struggle, within bracket, 1890 to 1900. Champaran Satyagraha, within bracket, 1917 to 18. Mopla Rebellion, within bracket, 1921. Bardoli Satyagraha, within bracket, 1928. Telangana Movement, 1946. Naxalbari Movement, within bracket, 1951. Wrong. Naxalbari Movement, within bracket, 1957. E. Backward caste movement. The backward caste have been deprived of many social, economic, political and religious privileges. These people provided manual labor and the untouchables occupied the lowest position among the classless hierarchy. They were subject to extreme form exploitation. The colonial power accentuated the disparities in the distribution of economic power. The atrocities united the lower caste against the upper caste. Some of the important backward caste movement which came up was Sotta Shodok Samaj এবং Nadar movement which consolidated the names along the caste lines. E.V. Ramaswamy started self-respect movement against the Brahmins in South India to help the backward caste people. The Kelkar Commission and the Bondal Commission recommended concessions and reservations for their welfare. Page 13.14. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movement. F. Dalit movements. Dalits are the suppressed people at the last rung of the caste-based hierarchy. Their inferior occupations and lower levels of ascriptive status make them vulnerable for attacks at the hands of upper caste people. The organizational efforts made by Dalit leaders for uplifting their status are known as Dalit movements. It is a protest against untouchability, casteism and discrimination faced by the Dalits. Dalit movement indicates some trends of protest ideologies which entail the following: withdrawal and self-organization, high Varna status, and extolling of non-Aryan cultures virtues, abandoning of Hinduism and embracing other religions like Buddhism and Islam. Mahatma Gandhi in 1923 founded the All India Harijan Sevak Sangha to start education and schools for the Dalits. Another most important Dalit leader, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, struggled to secure the basic human dignity for the Dalits. The Mahat Satyagraha for the right of water led by him was one of the outstanding movements of the Dalits to win equal social rights. The role of All India Depressed Classes Association and All India Depressed Classes Federation were the principal organizations which initiated a movement to improve the conditions of the Dalits. These organizations aimed at improving their miserable conditions and to spread education among them. The Scheduled Caste Commission and the Scheduled Tribes Commission have been entrusted to supervise the welfare activities meant for these classes. G. Women's movements. The women's movement in India is a rich movement which has taken different forms in different parts of the country. Women participated in the nationalist movement. Sarojini Naidu went in to become the first woman president of the Indian National Congress in 1925. Her presence was the signal for hundreds of other women to join the nationalist movement. The feminist activities are active in seeking gender justice. It is important to recognize that for a country of India's magnitude, change in male-female relations and the kinds of issues the women's movement is focusing on will not come easy. For every step the movement takes forward, there will be a possible backlash, a possible regression, and it is this that makes for the contradictions. This that makes it possible for them to be women who can aspire to and attain the highest political office in the country. And for a woman to continue to have to confront patriarchy within the home, in the workplace, throughout their lives. Women's reservations in the legislatures is being sought, though it has been made compulsory at the local government levels. The National Commission for Women 1922 and the National Policy for the Empowerment of Women within bracket 2001 are steps towards the betterment of women's welfare in the country. H. Chipko movement. The well-known Chipko movement within bracket Andolan, bracket closed, literally means hug the trees movement, bracket closed, invert comma closed, which originated from an incident in a remote village high up in the Himalayas in 1972. The bare facts of the incident are that there was a dispute between the local villagers and a logging contractor who had been allowed to fell trees in a forest close to the village. On the particular day, there was a meeting with the related government officials in their office away from the village, from which most of the men had gone. In the meanwhile, the contractor's workers appeared in the forest to cut the trees, while the main folk were absent. Undeterred, the women of the Reni village reached the forest quickly and clasped the tree trunks, thus preventing the workers from putting their axes and saws to the trees. Thus thwarted, the workers had to withdraw, and the incident spread like a wildfire across communities and media and forced the government, to whom the forest belongs to negotiate with the community, mostly women. The women began setting up their committees in the region that began articulating larger issues about eco-friendly development as a partnership between the community and the government. In spite of the usual ups and downs, the movement continues today as a major environmental movement and has inspired a large number of people in the country and the world. Page 13.15. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements. Exercise 1. Bureaucracy in the modern state is the form of A. Traditional authority, B. Rational legal authority, C. Charismatic authority, D. Political authority. The correct answer is B. Rational legal authority. Exercise 2. Development bureaucracy is different from traditional bureaucracy as A. It is structurally less rigid and behaviorally more flexible. B. It consists of more specialists, experts than generalists. C. It ensures uniformity and coordination. D. It is accountable to a political superior. The correct answer is B. It consists of more specialists, experts than generalists. Exercise 3. Bureaucracy thrives under the cloak of ministerial responsibility within inverted commas. This is true about A. USA, B. France, C. Germany, D. England. The correct answer is D. England. Exercise 4. Match list 1 and list 2 and select the correct code. In the horizontal column, list 1 and space list 2. Under list 1, within bracket thinkers. Under list 2, within bracket views of bureaucracy. Under list 1 in the vertical column, against serial number capital A, Hegel, serial number capital B, Marx, serial number capital C, Max Weber, and serial number capital D, Lord Hewart. Under list 2, views of bureaucracy in the vertical column. Under list 2 in the vertical column, 1. State's power, 2. A middle class bourgeois affair, 3. Rational legal authority, 4. New form of despotism. The code in the horizontal column, capital A, space capital B, space capital C, space capital D. Under capital A in the vertical column, against serial number A2, against serial number B1, against serial number C4, against serial number D1. Under capital D in the vertical column, against A1, B4, C2, D2. Under capital C in the vertical column, against A3, B2, C3, D3. Under capital D in the vertical column, against serial number A4, B3, C1 and D4. The correct answer is A, that is under A, Hegel. 2, that is a middle class bourgeois affair. Under capital B, 1, that is state's power. B means Marx, that is state's power. C, that is Max Weber. 3, that is rational legal authority. Under capital D means Lord Hewart. 4, that is new form of despotism. Question 5. Which of the following negates the fundamental principles of bureaucracy? A. Organization of official functions on a continuous rule-bound basis. B. Appropriation of official position by the incumbent. C. Trained personnel for the conduct of business. D. Principle of hierarchy. The correct answer is B, that is appropriation of official position by the incumbent. Officials have to do their job and not misuse their position. Exercise 6. Which of the following groups of lectures pertain to the bureaucracy but not to the ministry as a branch of the executive in a parliamentary democracy? A. Political and permanent. B. Non-political and non-permanent. C. Neutral and permanent. And D. Neutral and non-permanent. The correct answer is C, that is 6C, that is neutral and permanent. As regards the political ministers, the officials have to be politically neutral and permanent. Exercise 7. Lord Hewart has characterized the power and authority of bureaucracy as A. Self-aggrandizement, B. New despotism. C. Elite rule. And D. Empire building. The correct answer is B, that is new despotism. Exercise 8. Who postulated law? Within inverted comma, officials make work for each other. Inverted comma, close interrogation. A. Max Weber. B. Not Theo Parkinson. C. Ramsay Moore. And D. Peter Drucker. The correct answer is B, that is not Theo Parkinson. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements. The page exercises page 13.16. Exercise 9. Given below are two statements. One labeled as assertion A and the other labeled as reason R. Assertion A. Bureaucracy is an important feature of all government. Reason R. Bureaucracy is an ancient institution. In the context of the above two statements, which one of the following is correct? A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. 9. The correct answer is B, that is both A and R are true but R is not the correct explanation of A. Exercise 10. Which of the following is not a characteristic feature of bureaucracy according to Max Weber? A. Continuity. B. Rationality. C. Consistency. D. Political commitment. The correct answer is D, that is political commitment. Bureaucracy has to be politically non-committal. Exercise 11. In the post-Second World War period, role and importance of bureaucracy has increased in A. Socialist states and developing states. B. Developing states and liberal welfare states. C. Liberal welfare states and socialist states. D. Socialist states, developing states and liberal welfare states. The correct answer is D, that is socialist states, developing states and liberal welfare states. Exercise 12. Who among the following characterized bureaucracy as a rational legal authority? A. F.M. Marx. B. Wilfredo Pareto. C. Max Weber. And D. Hubert Simon. The correct answer is C, that is Max Weber. Exercise 13. Assertion A. Bureaucracy plays a more important role in policy formulation in developing countries than the developed ones. Reason R. In developing countries, because of weaknesses of interest groups and political parties, articulation and aggregation of interests through them are often not possible. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is true but R is false. And D. A is false but R is true. The correct answer is A, that is both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. Exercise 14. Which one of the following is not included in Max Weber's threefold classification of authority? A. Charismatic. B. Moral. C. Legal rational. And D. Traditional. The correct answer is B, that is moral. Exercise 15. Assertion A. Bureaucracy usurps the goal-setting function which properly belongs to the politicians. Reason R. Bureaucracy has an inherent tendency to exceed its instrumental functions and emerge as a responsible force within society, capable of influencing the goals and character of that society. Exercise A. Both A and R are true, but R is the correct explanation of A. Both A and R are true and but R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. The correct answer is A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. Page 13.17. Chapter 13. Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements. Exercise 16. Assertion A. Bureaucracy as an instrument of exploitation in the state exploits the affairs of the community in such a manner as to promote and sustain its private ends. A reason R. It is to bureaucracy which determines the fate of a political system of a given society. A. Wrong, I repeat again. Exercise 16, assertion A. Bureaucracy as an instrument exploitation in the state exploits the affairs of the community in such a manner as to promote and sustain its private ends. Reason R. It is the bureaucracy which determines the fate of a political system of a given society. Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. C, A is true, but R is false. D, A is false, but R is true. The correct answer is D, that is A is false, but R is true. Exercise 17. Match list 1 prime ministers, within bracket prime ministers, with list 2, within bracket their concept of bureaucracy. In the horizontal column, list 1, space list 2. Under list 1, in the vertical column, against serial number A, Jawaharlal Nehru, and serial number B, and serial number capital B. Against serial number capital A, Jawaharlal Nehru, against serial number capital B, Indira Gandhi, against serial number capital C, Morarji Desai, against serial number capital D, VP Singh. Under list 1, list 2, under list 2 in the vertical column, against serial number 1, neutral bureaucracy, against serial number 2, committed bureaucracy, against serial number 3, social justice based bureaucracy, against serial number 4, development oriented bureaucracy, against serial number 5, representative bureaucracy. Code in the horizontal column, capital A, space capital B, space capital C, space capital D. Under capital A in the vertical column, against serial number A1, against serial number B4, against serial number C1, against serial number D4. Under capital B in the vertical column, against serial number A2, against serial number B3, C3, D2. Under capital C in the vertical column, against serial number A5, B5, B1, C5, D1. Again, under serial number capital G in the vertical column, against serial number A3, B2, C2, D3. The correct answer is D, that is under A, that is Jawaharlal Nehru. 4. Development oriented bureaucracy. Under capital B, Indira Gandhi. 2. That is committed bureaucracy. Under serial number C, Morarji Desai. That is neutral bureaucracy. 1. That is neutral bureaucracy. Under capital D, VP Singh. 3. That is social justice based bureaucracy. Match 18, exercise 18, match list 1 with list 2. List 2, under list 1 in the horizontal column, list 1 space list 2. Under list 1 within inverted commas scholars. Under list 2 within bracket views of bureaucracy. Under list 1 and scholars in the vertical column, against capital A, Hegel, against capital B, Marx, against capital C, Max Weber, against capital D, Bellow. Under list 2 and views on bureaucracy, against serial number 1, legal rational view of bureaucracy. Under 2, against 2, bureaucracy as an instrument of exploitation. 3, reformist view of bureaucracy. 4, bureaucracy as a link between civil society and state. 5, bureaucracy as an instrument of social change. Code in the horizontal column, capital A, B, C and D. Under capital A in the vertical column, against serial number A1, B4, C1, D4. Under capital B in the vertical column, against serial number A3, serial number B2, serial number C2, serial number D3. Under capital C in the vertical column, against serial number A5, B1, C5 and D1. Under capital D again in the vertical column, against serial number A2, B3, C3, D2. The correct answer is B. That is under A, Hegel. 4, that is bureaucracy as a link between civil society and states. B, that is Marx. 2, that is bureaucracy as an instrument of exploitation. C, that is Max Weber. C, that is Max Weber. Bureaucracy as an instrument of social change. I repeat, code wrong. All codes are wrong. I repeat again. Code in the horizontal column, capital A, space capital B, space capital C, space capital D. In the under capital A in the vertical column, against serial number A1, B4, C1, D1, D4. Under capital B, against serial number A3, B2, C2, D3. Under capital C in the vertical column, against serial number A5, B1, C5, D1. Under capital D, again serial number A2, B3, C3, D2. The correct answer is B. That is under serial number A, Hegel. 4. That is bureaucracy as a link between civil society and state. Under capital B, that is Marx. 2. That is bureaucracy as an instrument of exploitation. Under capital C, Max Weber. 1. That is legal rational view of bureaucracy. Under capital D, 3. That is reformist view of bureaucracy. Exercise 19. According to Weber, the modern bureaucracy is based on which of the following basis of authority? A. Charismatic, B. Traditional, C. Legal rational, and D. Popular. The correct answer is C. Legal rational. Exercise 20. According to Howard Morrison, bureaucracy is the A. Price of dictatorship, B. Price of parliamentary democracy, C. Price of monarchy, and D. Price of federalism. The correct answer is B. That is price of parliamentary democracy. Exercise 21. Which of the following types of authority of did Weber not talk of? A. Traditionalist, traditional, A. Traditional, B. Rational, C. Charismatic, and D. Ideological. The correct answer is D. That is ideological. Exercise 22. Consider the following statements. According to Max Weber, charisma refers to the ability to 1. Exercise authority on grounds of holiness of bravery or bravery. 2. Lead and inspire by sheer force of personality and conviction. 3. Reason out and argue lucidly. 4. Exercise power irrationally. Which of the statements given above is oblique R are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. 1, 2 and 4, D. 2, 3 and 4. The correct answer is B. That is 2 only. That is lead and inspire by sheer force of personality and conviction. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements. Exercise 23. Consider the following statements. 1. Mosca divided all governments into two types, feudal and bureaucratic. 2. Max Weber identified three types of authorities, charismatic, traditional, legal, rational. 3. John Stuart Mill was the first scholar to have coined the term bureaucracy. 4. Friedrich Engels wrote one of the early texts on the conditions of working classes in England. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1, 2, 3 and 4, B. 1, 2 and 3, C. 2 and 3, D. 1, 3 and 4. The correct answer is C, that is 2 and 4. 2. Max Weber identified three types of authorities, charismatic, traditional, legal, rational. And 4. Friedrich Engels wrote one of the early texts on the conditions of working classes in England. Exercise 24. Which of the following is a feature of bureaucracy? A. It is a non-permanent, B. It is unskilled, C. It is paid, D. It is political. The correct answer is C, that is it is unpaid. Exercise 25. Who had described the British civil service as the envy of the world? A. Strong, B. Bryce, C. Finer, and D. Heward. The correct answer is C. Finer. Exercise 26. Which of the following is the chief function of a civil servant? A. To formulate policy, B. To advise the political executive, C. To punish those who violate the laws, and D. To interpret administrative law. The correct answer is B, that is to advise the political executive. Exercise 27. Assertion A. Administration is not the sole task of bureaucracy. Reason R. Bureaucracy rules on behalf of the ministry. A and R are true, R is the correct explanation of A. B, A and R are true, R is not the correct explanation of A. C, A is true, R is false. D, A is wrong, R is true. The correct answer is A, that is A and R are true. R is the correct explanation of A. B, A and R are true, R is not the correct explanation of A. C, I repeat, A and R are true, R is the correct explanation of A. B, A and R are true, R is not the correct explanation of A. C, A is true, R is wrong. D, A is wrong, R is true. The correct answer is A, that is A and R are true, R is the correct explanation of A. Exercise Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Management Exercises, page 13.18, exercise number 28. Assertion A. A civil servant should act without fear and favor. Reason R. In no case he should not usurp the powers of the political executive. A and R and true, R is not the correct explanation of A. B, A and R are true, R is not the explanation of A. C, A is true, R is false. D, A is false, R is true. 29, the correct answer is B, that is A and R are true, R is not the correct explanation, R is not the explanation of A. Exercise 29. Weber's traditional authority implies 1. Customs and conventions as the basis of authority. 2. Religion as authority. 3. Traditions as guidelines of authority. 4. Laws of the state. Which of the following given above are correct? 1, 2, 3. That is customs and conventions as the basis of authority. 2. Religion as authority. 3. Traditions as guidelines of authority. Exercise 30. To which of the following form of government bureaucracy owes its origin? A. Parliamentary. B. Presidential. C. Dictatorship. And D. Federalism. The correct answer is A, that is parliamentary. Exercise 31. Who has developed the idea of managerialism? The A. Weber, B. Morrison, B. Barnum, and D. Hayward. The correct answer is C, that is Barnum. Exercise 32. Which of the following is a drawback of bureaucracy? A. Inefficiency, B. Inexperience, C. Delaying tactics, and D. None of the above. The correct answer is C, that is delaying tactics. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements, page 13.90. Exercise 33. In which form of government the bureaucracy's role increases? A. Anarchist state, B. Individualistic state, C. Dictatorial state, and D. Welfare state. The correct answer is D, that is welfare state. Exercise 34. Which of the following is not the feature of Weber's rational legal bureaucracy? A. Continuity, B. Competence, C. Coordination, and D. Centralization. The correct answer is D, that is centralization. Exercise 35. Consider the following with regard to Weber's concept of rational legal form of bureaucracy. A. Bureaucracy is systematically organized. A. Bureaucracy is systematically organized. B. Hierarchical movement of control. C. Division between personnel and officials. And D. Political affinities. Which of the postulates given above are correct? A. 1, 2, 3. B. 1, 3, 4. C. 1, 2, 4. And D. 2, 3, 4. The correct answer is 1, 2, 3. That is 1. Bureaucracy is systematically organized. B. Hierarchical movement of control. 3. Division between personnel and official. 36. Which of the following are true about bureaucracy? 1. Officials discharge their function consciously. 2. Punctuality and honesty. 3. Transparency. 4. Politicization. 1. A. 1 and 3. B. 1 and 3. C. 1 and 4. D. 2 and 3. The correct answer is A, that is 1 and 3. 1. Officials discharge their function consciously. And 3. Transparency. Exercise 37. Bureaucracy leads to, as its critics say, A. 1. Departmentalism. 2. Red tapeism. 3. Self-aggrandizement, and 4. Democratism. Which of the above are correct? A. 1, 2, 3. B. 1, 2, 4. C. 1, 3, 4. D. 2, 3, 4. The correct answer is A, that is 1, 2, 3. 1. Departmentalism. 2. Red tapeism. And 3. Self-aggrandizement. Exercise 38. Who has described bureaucracy as a giant mechanism operated by pygmies? A. Heward, B. Earnshaw, and C. Hartman, and D. Balzac. The correct answer is D, that is Balzac. Exercise 39. Next, assertion A. There can be no true administration without bureaucracy. Reason R. Bureaucracy means the rule of the officials. A and R are true. R is the correct explanation of A. B, A and R are true, R is not the correct expression of A. C, A is true, R is false. D, A is false, R is true. The correct answer is A, that is A and R are true, R is not the, I repeat, A and R are true, R is the correct explanation of A. Exercise 40. Who had described bureaucracy as the most advanced form of organization? A. Weber, B. Wollstonecraft, C. Wasby, and D. Weber. The correct answer is A. Weber. Exercise 41. Which was one of the following statements of political development? A. And alternatives are tentative. Ideological specificity becomes imperative. D. Strategies of incremental acquisitions should be based on pragmatism. C. Alternative models of change ensure systematic sustenance and economic growth. D. Mass mobilization strengthens differentiation and institutionalization. The correct answer is C, that is alternative models of change ensure systematic sustenance and economic growth. Exercise 42, match list 1 with list 2. In the horizontal column, list 1 in space list 2. Under list 1, within bracket writers, under list 2, within bracket concepts. Under list 1 and writers, in the vertical column against capital A, Lucian Pye, and the capital B, F.W. Reeks, against serial number capital C, Manuel Hannington, and against capital D, S.F. Eisenstadt. Under list 2 and concepts, in the vertical column against serial number A, 1, political decay, serial number 2, political breakdown, serial number 3, development trap, serial number 4, development syndrome. The correct answer is B, that is under A, Lucian Pye, 4, that is development syndrome. Under B, that is F.W. Reeks, 3, that is development trap. Under capital C, that is Samuel Huntington, 1, that is political decay. Under capital D, S.F. Elstendat, 2, that is political breakdown. Page 13.20, exercise 43, chapter 13, bureaucracy, development, social movements. Exercises. Exercise 43. Radical comparativists who propounded the theory of underdevelopment favored A. Alienation and modernization, B. Alienation and dependency, C. Dependency and modernization, and D. Imperialism and dependency. The correct answer is D, that is imperialism and dependency. Exercise 44. Political socialization is the most promising approach to understand political development because A. The process of political socialization is a continuous one. B. Attitudes are established during infancy and untouched after the age of 10. C. Socialization includes individuals into culture and development process. D. Socialization takes the form of either manifest or latent transmission. The correct answer is C, that is socialization includes individuals into culture and development process. Exercise 45. Political development is not determined by the economic development because A. Economic development takes place only when old social, economic and physiological commitments are eroded. B. Economic development is a consequence of socio-economic mobilization. C. People must be available for new patterns of socialization and behavior. D. Unless, within inverted comma, capabilities of people improve, political development cannot be thought of. The correct answer is D. Unless political capabilities of people improve, political development cannot be thought of. Exercise 46. Which one of the following is an essential prerequisite for constitutionalism? A. Limited government. B. A written constitution. C. Guarantee of fundamental rights. And D. Division of powers. The correct answer is A. That is limited government. Exercise 47. Which of the following indicators were emphasized on a development approach by the World Bank report in 1990? 1. Subsidies. 2. Structural change inbuilt with competition. 3. Good governance. And 4. An open system. Which of the above are correct? A. 1, 2 and 3. B. 1, 3 and 4. And C. 2, 3 and 4. And D. 1, 2, 3 and 4. The correct answer is C. That is 2, 3 and 4. 2 means structural change inbuilt with competition. 3. Good governance. 4. An open system. Exercise 48. Assertion A. An objective theory of development is an impossibility. Reason A. Value-free theory of development is a deceitful function. A. Both A and R are true, but A and A is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is true, but R is false. D. A is false, but R is true. The correct answer is A. Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Exercise 49. Which of the following are the hurdles that Marxists see for development? 1. Repatriation of profits. 2. Debt trap. 3. Concentration of land and capital in a few hands. 4. Lack of technology. Which of the above are correct? A. 1, 2 and 3. B. 1, 3 and 4. C. 2, 3 and 4. And D. 1, 2, 3 and 4. The correct answer is B. That is 1, 3 and 4. 1. Repatriation of profits. 3. Concentration of land and capital in a few hands. And 4. Lack of technology. Exercise 50. The concept of center periphery is propounded by A. Robert Nozick. B. Mao Zedong. C. Andre Gunder Frank. And D. Manuel Hannington. The correct answer is 50C, that is Andre Gunder Frank. Andre Frank, as advocate of dependency theory, refers to center periphery theory. Exercise 51. Who is not a proponent of liberal theory of development? A. Inglis. B. Smith. C. Wibert E. Moore. And D. Bilwar. The correct answer is A. That is Inglis. Exercise 52. A society is caught in a development trap when it fails to A. Distinguish between technological change and cultural change. B. Distinguish between structural and functional qualities of a developing polity. C. Develop role differentiation equal to the level of growth in capacity and equality. D. To keep peace and demands of the development syndrome. The correct answer is B, that is distinguish between structural and functional qualities of a developing policy. Developing polity. The exercise 53. Which of the following pairs are correctly matched? 1. Dependency theory, Shomi Ramin. 2. Liberal theory of development, Lucian Pi. 3. Theory of alienation, early Marx. And 4. Theory of negative liberty, John Rawls. A. 1, 2, 3 and 4. B. 1 and 2. C. 3 and 4. D. 1, 2 and 3. That is 1. Dependency theory dash Shami Ramin. 2. Liberal theory of development, Lucian Pi. And 3. Theory of alienation, early Marx. 54. Exercise 54. What is the correct sequence of the following characteristics of political development? 1. Capacity. B. 2. Equality. 3. Differentiation. Select the correct answer using the quotes given below. A. 1, 2 and 3. B. 2, 1 and 3. C. 3, 1 and 2. D. 3, 2, 1, 1. The correct answer is B. That is 2, 1 and 3. 2 means equality, then capability, and then differentiation. Exercise 55. Political development syndrome in view of behavioral theorists does not include A. Equality involving popular rule. B. Capacity involving popular rule. C. Differentiation involving specialization. D. Homogeneity involving unity. Correct answer is D. That is homogeneity involving unity. Exercise 56. Which of the following pairs are correctly matched? 1. Overdeveloped state, Gunnar Myrdal. 2. Grundrisse, Karl Marx. 3. Accommodation of capital, Rosa Luxemburg. And 4. Stages of growth, W. Rostow. The correct answer is A, that is 2, 3 and 4, B 1 and 4, C 1, 2 and 3, and D 1, 2, 3 and 4. The correct answer is A, that is 2, 3 and 4. 2. Grundrisse, Karl Marx. 3. Accumulation of capital, Rosa Luxemburg. 4. Stages of growth, W. Rostow. Exercise 57. Which of the following pairs are correctly matched? 1. Immanuel Wallerstein, World System Analysis. 2. Andre Gunder Frank, Development of Underdevelopment. 3. V.I. Lenin, A Critique of Political Economy. 4. T.G.R. Bauer, Human Development. A 1, 2, 3 and 4, B 3 and 4, C 1, 2 and 4, B 1, 2 and 4. 1 means Immanuel Wallerstein, World System Analysis. 2. Andrew Gunnar Frank, Development of Underdevelopment. And 4. T.G.R. Bauer, Human Development. Exercise 58. Lucian Pai has described the characteristics of political development as A. Administrative, economic and social. B. Modern, participative and nationalistic. C. Equality, capacity and differentiation. D. Political unification, economic development and national welfare. That is C. Equality, capacity and differentiation. Exercise 59. Who among the following had argued that modern communications have the effect of condensing all information into brief slogans? 1. Lawrence Lowell. B. Walter Lippmann. C. J.S. Mill. And D. Daniel Bell. The correct answer is Daniel Bell. D. The correct answer is D, that is Daniel Bell. Exercise 60. Which of the following pairs are correctly matched? 1. Samuel Huntington, Political Decay. 2. Fred Ricks, Prismatic Society. 3. David Eston, Civic Culture. And 4. David Apter, Political Modernization. The correct answer is 1, 2 and 4. C, that is 1, 2 and 4. 1 means Samuel Huntington, Political Decay. 2. Fred Ricks, Prismatic Society. 1, 2 and 4. 4 means David Apter, Political Modernization. Exercise 61. The third world countries are seen as peripheral countries whose resources are being continuously transferred to the capitalism metropolis by centers according to the A. Marxist, B. Behavioralists, C. Dependency theories, and D. Narodniks. The correct answer is C, that is dependency theories. Exercise 62. For explaining which one of the following phenomena does one normally use within inverted commas center periphery framework of reference? A. Under representation. B. Loose federation. C. Delegation of authority. And D. Underdevelopment. The correct answer is D, that is underdevelopment. Exercise 63. Assertion A. Lucian Pai identified 3 key ingredients development as equality, capacity and differentiation. Reason R. High level of differentiation makes a society development. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. The correct explanation is A, that is both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. Exercise 64. Assertion A. According to Lucian W. Pai, political development is characterized by equality, capacity and differentiation. Reason R. A state should attempt to strengthen these aspects of development. A. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. The correct explanation is B, that is both A and R are true but R is not the correct explanation of A. Exercise 65. Who made the following statements within inverted comma? Third world countries must struggle to solve economic, social, political and cultural problems all at the same time to attain a level of development. Inverted comma close. A. M. K. Gandhi. B. Jai Prakash Narayan. C. Garner Myrdal. And D. Andre Gander Frank. The correct answer is C, that is Garner Myrdal. Exercise 66. Who among the following is credited with formulating welfare economics and the social choice theory? A. Amartya Sen. B. Bimal Jalan. C. K. N. Raj. And D. Manmohan Singh. The correct answer is A, that is Amartya Sen. The correct answer is A, that is Amartya Sen. Exercise 67. Most of the third world states are A. Ethnically and culturally divided. B. Linguistically homogeneous. C. Rich in natural resources. And D. Economically self-reliant. The correct answer is A, that is ethnically and culturally divided. Exercise 68. Who among the following is associated with the thesis of development of underdevelopment? A. Rosa Luxemburg. B. Paul Baran. C. Che Guevara. And C. D. Andre Gunnar Frank. The correct answer is D, that is Andre Gunnar Frank. Exercise 69. Who among the following made the statements within inverted comma? State is the third world societies is not an instrument of a single class. Instead, the state is relatively autonomous and it mediates the interests of competing classes while at the same time acting on behalf of all of them in order to preserve the social order. Inverted comma close. A. M. N. Rai. B. Mahbub ul Haq. C. Hamza Alavi. And D. Ram Mohan Lohiya. The correct answer is C, that is Hamza Alavi. Page 13.23. Chapter 13. Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements. Exercises. Exercise number 70. The concept of social capital has been put forward by A. V. S. Naipaul. B. Robert Putnam. C. Manuel Huntington. And D. Edward Said. The correct answer is B, that is Robert Putnam. Exercise 71. Assertion A. Development of administration signifies action-oriented and target-oriented program suitable for developing countries. Reason R. The success of rural development plans acts as a strong impetus for initiating other developmental plans. A. Both A and R are individually true and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are individually true but R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is true but R is false. And D. A is false but R is true. The correct answer is B, that is both A and R are individually true but R is not the correct explanation of A. Exercise 72. The idea of world systems theory within inverted comma, signifying the arrival of international capitalist order, was predicted in the 1970s. Identify the scholar who advanced this idea. A. Samuel P. Huntington. B. Andre Gunder Frank. C. Emanuel Wallerstein. And D. Cardoso. The correct answer is C, that is Emanuel Wallerstein. Exercise 73. Which aspect of imperialism does the dependency theory emphasize? A. Economic. B. Political. C. Cultural. And D. Strategic. The correct answer is A. Economic. Exercise 74. Which of the two among these who sought to define underdevelopment in terms of neocolonial dependency mode? A. A.G. Rank. 2. Celso Furtado. 3. A.W. Widener. And 4. Garner Myrdal. The proposed answers are A. 1 and 2, B. 1 and 3, C. 1 and 3, 2 and 3, C. 2 and 3, D. 1 and 4. The correct answer is A, that is 1 and 2. 1 means A.G. Frank and 2 means Celso Furtado. Match list 1 with list 2. In the horizontal column, list 1 space list 2. Under list 1, development approach. Under list 2, features. Under list 1 and development approach, in the vertical column, against serial number capital A, blueprint approach. Serial number capital B, learning process approach. Serial number capital C, production centered approach. Serial number capital D, people centered approach. Against list 2 and features, under vertical column, against serial number 1, utilization of capital resources over human resources. 2, cybernetic process with latitude for change according to needs. 3, planning in advance for development. Under list 1 development, I repeat again in the entire exercise 75. Exercise 75. Match list 1 with list 2. In the horizontal column, list 1 space list 2. Under list 1, development approach. Under list 2, features. Under list 1, that is under development approach, in the vertical column, against serial number capital A, blueprint approach. B, learning process approach. C, production centered approach. D, people centered approach. Under list 2 and features, in the vertical column, against serial number 1, utilization of capital resources over human resources. 2, cybernetic process with latitude for change according to needs. 3, planning in advance for development. 4, individual as an actor who defines the goal. Code. In the horizontal column, capital A, capital B, capital C, capital D. Under capital A, in the vertical column, against serial number A3, serial number B1, serial number C3, serial number D1. Under capital B in the vertical column, against serial number A4, B2, C2, D4. Under capital C in the vertical column, against serial number A1, B3, C1, D3. Under capital D in the vertical column, against serial number A2, B4, C4, D2. The correct answer is C, that is under serial number capital A, blueprint approach. 3, that is planning in advance for development. Under capital B, that is learning process approach. 2, that is cybernetic process with latitude for change according to needs. C, production, capital C, production centered approach. Under capital C, production centered approach. 1, that is utilization of capital resources over human resources. Under capital D, that is people centered approach. 4, that is individual as an actor who defines the goal. Exercise 76. Crisis of distribution referred to in the context of poverty alleviation indicates A, problem of distribution of fruits of development. B, improper distribution of spoils of power. C, inadequate resources to meet the needs of the country. D, injudicious distribution of financial aid to the poor. The correct answer is A, problem of distribution of fruits of development. Exercise 77. According to Hannington, which of the following countries, regions, can be considered as coming under the third wave of democratization? A, Japan and Germany. B, India and Israel. C, Britain, France and USA. D, Southern and Eastern Europe. The correct answer is D, that is Southern and Eastern Europe. Exercise 78. Which one of the following countries pursues an institutionalized policy of preferential treatment towards its ethnic majority? A, Bangladesh. B, Malaysia. C, Egypt. And D, Philippines. The correct answer is B, that is Malaysia. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements. Exercises, page 13.24. Exercise 79. Which one of the following theories is known as voices for periphery? Voices from periphery is within inverted comma. A, modernization. B, class struggle. C, dependency. D, imperialism. The correct answer is C, that is dependency. Exercise 80. New dependency emphasizes on A. Surplus extraction as the major cause of underdevelopment. B. Monopoly of trade complemented by a monopoly of land, mines and manpower in developing countries. C. Domination of capital by hegemonic centers. And D. Investment by multinational corporations. The correct answer is D, that is investment by multinational corporations. Exercise 81. Assertion A. Textiles and apparels are products in which developed countries have a comparative advantage. Reason A. Textiles and apparels have been for long a labor-intensive industries. A. Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true, and R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is true, but R is false. D. A is false, but R is true. The correct answer is D. C. The correct answer is C, that is A is true, but R is false. Exercise 82. Who used the concept of, within inverted comma, associated dependent development? Interrogation. A. Ernesto Laclau. B. Alfred Stepper. D. C. I repeat, A. Ernesto Laclau, B. Alfred Stepper, C. Dos Santos, and D. Fernando Cardoso. The correct answer is D, that is Fernando Cardoso. Exercise 83. Consider the passage given below. Disruption of institutional traditions, identifications and loyalties is likely to lead to ambivalent situations. It is possible that some people may renew their identification with traditions, groups, whereas others align themselves with new groups and symbols emergent from processes of political development. In addition, political development tends to foster group awareness of variety of classes, tribes, religion, clan, language, religion, occupation, and others. Which one of the following is the best explanation of the crucial formulation in the above passage? Which one of the following is the best explanation of the crucial formulation in the above passage? A. Political development is not a unilinear process, for it involves both growth and decay. B. Traditional societies succeed in resisting positive aspects of political development. C. It is impossible for traditional societies to break away from lingering loyalties. And D. Sustenance to traditional loyalties is conducive to political development. The correct answer is A, that is political development is not a unilinear process, for it involves both growth and decay. Exercise 84. Who is the leading advocate of the concept of political development? A. Stone, B. Kaplan, C. Pai, P-Y-E, D. Ricks. The correct answer is C, that is Pai. Exercise 85. Which of the following is not the characteristics of Pai's concept of political development? A. Uniformity, B. Differentiation, C. Capacity, and D. Equality. The correct answer is A, that is uniformity. Exercise 86. Fred Ricks includes which one of the following as an important aspect in the definition of development? A. Environment, B. Establishment, C. Integration, and D. Participation. The correct answer is A, that is environment. Exercise 87. Assertion A. Development as a process is a means to acquire growth. Reason R. It is a process of transformation from a traditional society to modern society. A and R are true. R is the correct explanation of A. B. A and R are true. R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is true. R is false. D. A is false. R is true. That is, the correct answer is A. That is, A and R are true. R is the correct explanation of A. Page 13.25. Chapter 13. Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements, Exercises. Exercise 88. According to W. Rostow, which one of the following is the correct order of the stages of economic growth? A. Traditional society drive towards maturity preconditions for take-off, the search for quality age of high mass consumption. B. Drive towards maturity preconditions for take-off, the search for quality age of high mass consumption traditional society. C. Traditional society preconditions for take-off, drive towards maturity age of high mass consumption, the search for quality. D. Age of high mass consumption, the search for quality, traditional society, drive towards maturity, precondition for take-off. The correct answer is C. That is traditional society dash preconditions for take-off, drive towards maturity dash age of high mass consumption dash the search for quality. The exercise 89. Which of the following is not the criteria for understanding underdevelopment? A. Low level of living. B. Low level of productivity. C. Low level of consumption. And D. Low level of income. The correct answer is C. That is low level of consumption. Exercise 90. Which of the following is not a feature of the concept of development? A. It is a static concept. B. It is multi-dimensional. C. It is another name of growth. D. It is a rational concept. The correct answer is A. That is, it is a static concept. Exercise 91. Who among the following is not associated with the classical development theory? A. Keynes. B. Smith. C. Ricardo. D. Mill. The correct answer is Keynes. A. Keynes. The correct answer is A. Keynes. Exercise 92. Rostow's stages approach are numerous. Arrange them chronologically. 1. Drive to maturity stage. 2. Pre-Newtonian stage. 3. Mass consumption stage. 4. Take-off stage. 5. Pro-Newtonian stage. A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. B. 2, 5, 4, 1, 3. C. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And D. 4, 3, 2, 1, 5. The correct answer is B. That is 2, 5, 4, 1, 3. 2 means pre-Newtonian stage. 5. Pro-Newtonian stage. 4. Take-off stage. Then 1. Drive to maturity stage. Then 3. Mass consumption stage. Exercise 93. Who is not associated with the German historical approach of development? A. Friedrich List. A. B. Gunnar Myrdal. C. Karl Bucher. And D. Werner Sombart. The correct answer is B. That is Gunnar Myrdal. Exercise 94. Which of the following is not the stage as described by Sombart? A. Barter economy. B. Individual economy. C. Transitional economy. D. Social economy. The correct answer is A. That is barter economy. Exercise 95. Assertion A. A socialist model of development is not necessarily a Marxist model of development always. Reason R. A Marxist model of development is always a socialist model. A and R are true. R is the correct explanation of A. B. A and R are true. R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is true. R is false. D. A is false. R is true. The correct answer is B. That is A and R are true. R is not the explanation of A. Exercise 96. By evolution of productive property is meant A. Evolution of private ownership of property. B. Evolution of social ownership of property. C. Evolution of public distribution of property. And D. Evolution of private exchange of property. The correct answer is A. Evolution of private ownership of property. Exercise 97. Gandhian model of development amounts to A. Choosing a cart when an automobile is available. B. Choosing an automobile when a cart is available. C. Discarding the cart and owning an automobile. D. Discarding both the cart and automobile. The correct answer is A. Choosing a cart when an automobile is. Exercise 13. Bureaucracy development social movements. Exercises. Page 13.26. Exercise 98. Which of the following is not the characteristic of political development as is stated by Almond and Powell? A. Role specialization. B. Differentiation. C. Subsystem autonomy. And D. Secularization. The correct answer is D, that is secularization. Exercise 99. Match list 1 with list 2. In the horizontal column, list 1 space list 2. Under list 1 in the vertical column, against serial number capital A, Huntington, serial number capital B, Pi, serial number capital C, Almond and Powell, and serial number capital D, dot, D-O-double-D. Under list 2 in the vertical column, against serial number 1, comparative politics, serial number 2, political development and political decay, serial number 3, political development, serial number 4, aspects of political development. Quote, in the horizontal column, A, capital A, space capital B, space capital C, space capital D. Under capital A in the vertical column, against serial number A2, serial number B2, serial number C2, serial number D4. Against capital B in the vertical column, against serial number A4, serial number B4, serial number C3, serial number D3. Against capital C in the vertical column, against serial number, and under capital C in the vertical column, against serial number A1, serial number B3, serial number C1, serial number D2. Under capital D in the vertical column, against serial number A3, B1, C4, D1. The correct answer is A, that is under serial number capital A, Huntington. 2, that is political development and political decay. Under capital B, that is Pi. 4, that is aspects of political development. Under capital C, Almond and Powell. 1, that is comparative politics. Under capital D, that is dot, D-O-double-D dot. 3, that is political development. Exercise 100. Who is not the exponent of the dependency theory? A. G. Frank. B. Gunnar Myrdal. C. Paul Barron. And D. F.H. Cardoso. The correct answer is B, that is Gunnar Myrdal. Exercise 101. Who is regarded as the pioneer of the dependency theory? A. Frank. B. Cardoso. C. Prebisk. And D. Wallerstein. The correct answer is A, that is Frank. Exercise 102. Consider the following statements with regard to dependency theory. Poverty of the underdeveloped nations is because 1. They are not integrated into the world system. 2. They are not fully integrated in the world market. 3. They are integrated in a particular way. Which of the statements given above is are correct? A. 1 and 2, B. 2 and 3, C. 2 only, D. 3 only. The correct answer is 1 and 2. 1 means they are not integrated into the world system. 2 means they are not fully integrated in the world market. Exercise 103. Assertion A. The wealthy nations need a peripheral group of poorer nations in order to remain wealthy. Reason R. The poor nations provide natural resources, cheap labor, etc. to the wealthy nations. A and R are true, R is the correct explanation of A. B. A and R are true, R is not the explanation of A. C. A is true, R is false. D. A is false, R is true. The correct answer is A. That is A and R are true, R is the correct explanation of A. Exercise 104. Which of the following are implied by Human Development Index? 1. Increased life expectancy. B. 2. Increased level of literacy. 3. Increased political stability. 4. Increased per capita income. A. 1, 2, 3. B. 1, 2 and 4. C. 1, 3 and 4. And D. 2, 3 and 4. The correct answer is B. That is 1, 2 and 4. 1. Increased life expectancy. 2. Increased level of literacy. 4. Increased per capita income. Exercise 105. Which of the following is not the premise of the dependency theory? A. Poor nation enjoy the standard of living by providing markets to the wealthy nations. B. They receive initiatives from policies as offered to them by the wealthy nations. C. They provide periphery to the wealthy nations so that the latter remain wealthy. D. They provide interdependence avenues to the wealthy nations. The correct answer is A. Poor nations enjoy the standard of living by providing markets to the wealthy nations. Exercise 106. Dependency theory obtains impetus from A. Marxism, B. Socialism, C. Neoliberalism, and D. Libertarianism. The correct answer is A, that is Marxism. Page 13.27. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements. Exercises. Exercise 107. Who wrote extensively on dependency theory when in political exile? A. Wallerstein, B. Frank, C. Prebisch, and D. Cardoso. The correct answer is D, that is Cardoso. Exercise 108. Dependency theory became popular in 1960s and 1970s because of A. Continued widespread poverty, B. Continued widespread malnutrition, C. Continued widespread surplus production, D. Continued widespread mass consumption. The correct answer is A. Continued widespread poverty. Exercise 109. For Lenin, imperialism was the highest stage of capitalism. For the dependency theorists, it is the root cause of one impoverishment. Wrong. It is correctly. I read correctly. 1. Impoverishment of the developing nations. 2. Underdevelopment of the developing nations. 3. Equality of backwardness in the developing nations. 4. Richness of the developed native. A 1, 2, 3, B 1, 3, 4, C 1, 2, 4, and D 2, 3, 4. The correct answer is 1. Impoverishment of the developing nations. 2. Underdevelopment of the developing nations. 3. Equality of backwardness in the developing nations. Exercise 110. Match list 1 with list 2. In the horizontal column, list 1 space list 2. Under list 1 in the vertical column, against serial number A, capital A, Immanuel Wallerstein. B. Against serial number B, Amin. Against serial number C, Santos. Against serial number capital D, Cardoso. Under list 2 in the vertical column, against serial number 1, the modern world system. Serial number 2, new dependency. Serial number 3, accumulation and underdevelopment. Serial number 4, unequal exchange. Code in the horizontal column, capital A space capital B space capital C space capital D. Under capital A in the vertical column, against serial number A 1, serial number B 1, serial number C 4, serial number D 2. Under capital B in the vertical column, against serial number 3, against serial number A 3, serial number B 3, serial number C 1, serial number D 4. Under capital C in the vertical column, against serial number A 4, serial number B2, serial number C3, serial number D1. Under capital D in the vertical column, against serial number A2 and serial number B4, serial number C2, serial number D3. The correct answer is B. That is under capital A, Immanuel Wallerstein 1, that is the modern world system. Under capital B, Amin 3, that is accumulation and underdevelopment. Under capital C, that is Santos 2, that is new dependency. Under capital D, Cardoso 4, that is unequal exchange. Exercise 111. Which of the following does not negate the assumptions of the dependency theory with the progress made thereby? A. Taiwan, B. Malaysia, C. Thailand, and D. Singapore. The correct answer is D, that is Singapore. Exercise 112. Assertion A. Periphery nations are likely to remain raw material exporting states. Reason R. By the end of 1970s, the less developed countries exported more manufactured goods than the raw material. A and R are true. R is the correct explanation of A. B. A and R are true. R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is true. R is false. D. A is false. R is true. That is, correct answer is C. That is, A is true. True. R is false. Exercise 113. Consider the following statements with regard to the mainstream greens. 1. Energy and resources be kept renewed. 2. Waste be destroyed completely. 3. Human needs be satisfied, rather the GNP be sought. 4. Recycling of the waste be done into raw material. Which of the above are correct? A. 1, 2, 3. B. 2, 3, 4. C. 1, 3, 4. D. 1, 2, 4. The correct answer is D, that is 1, 2 and 4. 1. Energy and resources be kept renewed. 2. Waste be destroyed completely. 4. Recycling of the waste be done into raw material. Exercise 114. Sustainable development implies A. Workable development. B. Development with assured living. C. Development of the present while keeping good and enough for others. D. All the above. The correct answer is C. Development of the present while keeping good and enough for others. Exercise 115. Which of the following does not match? A. Adams, white development. B. Brown, building a sustainable society. C. Dubé, modernization and development. And D. Tolba, sustainable development. The correct answer is A. Adams, white development. Assertion A. Exercise 116. Assertion A. A social movement is a particular form of collective behavior in which the motive to act springs from the attitude of members and the challenges of the society. Reason R. Social groups and movements embrace interest groups and political parties to achieve their goals. The the proposed answers are A. Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is true, but R is false. D. A is false, but R is true. The correct answer is B, that is both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movement. Exercises, page 13.28. Exercise 117. In the eyes of a radical feminist, gender equality can be achieved through A. Gradual reform. B. Getting more women elected to legislatures. C. Challenging patriarchy. And D. Challenging patriarchy. And D. Class struggle. The correct answer is C, that is challenging patriarchy. Exercise 118. Who among the following is associated with ecofeminism? A. Suman Sahi. B. Shabana Azmi. C. Vandana Shiva. And D. Arundhati Roy. The correct answer is C, that is Vandana Shiva. Exercise 119. 119. Which one of the following is not an NGO? Campaigning for human rights. A. Amnesty International. B. World Watch. C. PUCL. And D. Oxfam. OXFAM. The correct answer is D, that is Oxfam. OXFAM. Exercise 120. The well-known theorist of new social movement is A. Habermas. B. Karl Marx. C. Foucault. And D. Althusser. The correct answer is C, that is Foucault. Exercise 121. Generally non-government organizations in India are registered under A. Registration Act 1860. B. Registration Act 1871. C. Registration Act 1960. D. Registration Act 1948. The correct answer is A, that is Registration Act 1860. Exercise 122. Which one of the following statements is not true with regard to non-government organizations? A. They have come to play increasingly constructive role in the development process. B. They have to redefine their roles in accordance with the changing times. C. The government has to change the bureaucratic control. D. The government should affiliate non-government organization to its respective departments in order to have better control over their functioning. The correct answer is D, that is government should affiliate non-government organization to its respective departments in order to have better control over their functioning. Exercise 123. Which one of the following non-government organization is exclusively involved in human rights advocacy? A. Oxfam. B. Ford Foundation, C. Amnesty International, and D. Caritas. The correct answer is C, that is Amnesty International. Exercise 124. Birsa Munda was associated with tribal struggle of A. Northeast region, B. Jharkhand, C. Nagpur division, and D. Deccan. That is correct answer is B, that is Jharkhand. Exercise 125. Which of the following pairs is not correctly matched? A. Sundarilal Bahuguna Chipko movement, B. Sardar Patel Orli struggle, C. Narayanaswamy Naidu Tamiliga Vivasaigal Sangam, and D. Ram Manohar Lohia Kagodu Satyagraha. The correct answer is B, that is Sardar Patel Orli struggle. Exercise 126. Which of the following social movements is driven more by identity concerns rather than the ideological concerns? The A. Narmada movement, B. Farmers movement Karnataka against the MNCs, C. Sub-caste reservation movements among the scheduled castes, and D. Anti-liquor shop campaign in Andhra Pradesh. The correct answer is C, that is sub-caste reservation movements among the scheduled castes. Exercise 127. Match list 1 with list 2. Wrong. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movement. Exercises, page 13.29. Exercise 127. Match list 1 with list 2. In the horizontal column, list 1 space list 2. Under list 1, individual. Under list 2, movement. Under list 1 and under individual, in the vertical column, against capital A, Sharad Joshi. Against capital B, serial number capital B, Datopant Thengadi. And against serial number capital C, Nirmala Deshpande. Against serial number capital D, Sundarlal Bahuguna. Under list 1 and movement, against in the vertical column, against serial number 1, Gandhian movement. Against serial number 2, Chipko movement. Against serial number 3, Farmers movement. Against serial number 4, Workers movement. Quote, in the horizontal column, capital A space capital B space capital C space capital D. Under capital A in the vertical column, against serial number A3, and serial number capital B, serial number, I repeat, again under capital A in the vertical column, against serial number A3, serial number B3, serial number C2, serial number D2. Under capital B in the vertical column, against serial number A4, serial number B1, serial number C4, serial number D1. Under capital C in the vertical column, against serial number A1, B4, C1, D4. Under capital D in the vertical column, against serial number A2, B2, C3, D3. The correct answer is A. That is under serial number capital A, Sharad Joshi. 3, that is Farmers Movement. Under serial number capital B, Datopant Thengadi. 4, that is Workers Movement. Under serial number capital C, Nirmala Deshpande. 1, Gandhian Movement. Under serial number capital D, that is Sundarlal Bahuguna. 2, that is Chipko Movement. Exercise 128. Which one of the following is not a peasant movement? A. Telangana insurrection, B. Tebhanga movement, C. Naxalbari movement, and D. Apiko movement. The correct answer is D, that is Apiko movement. Exercise 129. Assertion A. Naxalite movement is an armed struggle of poor peasantry against the landlords. Reason R. Naxalite movement was born in the Naxalbari village of Darjeeling district. Quote, both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is true, but R is false. D. A is false, but R is true. Correct answer is B, that is both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Exercise 130. Jhum cultivation by cutting and burning trees is in practice by indigenous tribes in A. Karnataka, B. northeastern states, and C. Orissa, and D. Jammu and Kashmir. The correct answer is A, that is wrong. The correct answer is B. The correct answer is B, that is northeastern states. Exercise 131. In which year was the Human Rights Protection Law passed in India? A. 1986, B. 1987, C. 1993, D. 1995. The correct answer is C. The 1993. Exercise 132. Match list 1 movements with list 2 issues. In the horizontal column, list 1 space list 2. Under list 1, in the vertical column, A. Panthers, B. Chipko, C. Jharkhand, D. Tebhaga. Under list 2 in the vertical column, again serial number 1, agrarian relations. Again serial number 2, environmental. Serial number 3, exploitation and discrimination. Again serial number 4, statehood. Port. In the horizontal column, capital A space capital B space capital C space capital D. Under capital A in the vertical column, again serial number A4, serial number B3, serial number C4, serial number D3. Under capital B in the vertical column, again serial number A2, B1, C1, D2. Under capital C in the vertical column, again serial number A3, B4, C3, D4. Under capital D in the vertical column, again serial number A1, B2, C2, D1. The correct answer is D, that is under serial number capital A, Panthers, 3, that is exploitation and discrimination. Under serial number capital D, Chipko, 2, that is environmental. Under serial number capital D, Jharkhand, 4, that is statehood. Under serial number capital D, Tebhaga, 1, that is agrarian relations. Exercise 133. Who among the following was considered to be a forerunner of backward class movement? A. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, B. Jyotirao Phule, C. E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar, D. Ram Mohan Lohia. The correct answer is B, that is Jyotirao Phule. Exercise 134. Who among the following was the first president of AITUC? A. Joseph Baptista, B. Lala Rajpat Rai, C. B.P. Wadia, and D. P.C. Joshi. The correct answer is B, that is Lala Rajpat Rai. Exercise 135. Which one of the following is not a peasant movement? A. Kheda movement, B. Tabli movement, C. Telangana movement, and D. Tebhaga movement. The correct answer is Tablik movement. T-A-B-L-I-G-H, Tablik movement. The correct answer is B, that is Tablik movement. Exercise 136. According to Charles Tilly, there are 3 elements of social movements. Which of the following is not that element? A sustained organized campaign, B. A purposive action, C. A committed people, D. An educated alert leadership. The correct answer is D, that is an educated alert leadership. Page 13.30. Chapter 13. Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements. Exercises. Exercise 137. Consider the following with regard to social movements. 1. They are a type of group action. 2. They are informal groupings. 3. They focus on social issues. 4. They adhere to social stability. Which of the above are correct? A. 1, 2, 3, B. 2, 3, 4, C. 1, 3, 4, and D. 1, 2, 4. The correct answer is C, that is 1, 3, and 4. 1. They are a type of group action. 3. They focus on social issues. 4. They adhere to social stability. Exercise 138. Which of the following movements is a radical type of social movement? A. Civil disobedience movement of Gandhi, B. Polish solidarity, C. Chipko movement, D. Narmada movement. The correct answer is B, that is Polish solidarity. Exercise 139. The new social movements lay emphasis on 1. Quality of life, 2. Led by the educated and the well-to-do people, 3. Material benefits, and 4. Cooperativeness. Which of the above are correct? A. 1, 2, 3, B. 1, 3, and 4, C. 1, 2, and 4, D. 2, 3, and 4. The correct answer is C, that is 1, 2, and 4. 1. Quality of life. 2. Led by the educated and the well-to-do people. 4. Cooperativeness. Exercise 140. Social movements aim at A. Radical and wholesome changes. B. Changes in social altitudes. C. Change through resolution. D. Politically orientation. The correct answer is B, that is changes in social altitudes. Exercise 141. Brahmo Samaj was founded by A. Raja Ram Mohan Rai. B. Mahadev Govind Ranade. C. Swami Dayananda Saraswati. B. Swami Vivekananda. The correct answer is A, that is Raja Ram Mohan Rai. Exercise 142. Which movement was popular in erstwhile Madras state? A. Prarthana Samaj. B. Ved Samaj. C. Arya Samaj. And D. Brahmo Samaj. The correct answer is B, that is Ved Samaj. Exercise 143. Which was the main center of the Wahhabi movement? A. Dhaka. B. Peshawar. C. Patna. D. Pune. The correct answer is D. C. The correct answer is C, that is Patna. Exercise 144. Hookah movement is known as A. GADR movement. B. Namdhari movement. C. Nirankari movement. And D. Khalsa movement. The correct answer is B, that is Namdhari movement. Exercise 145. Who is described as the father of the Indian Renaissance? A. Dayananda Saraswati. B. Vivekananda. C. Raja Ram Mohan Rai. And D. Mahatma Gandhi. The correct answer is Raja Ram Mohan Rai. Exercise 146. Who had founded the Satya Sodhak Samaj? A. B.R. Ambedkar. B. Jyotiba Phule. And C. Ramaswamy Naikar. And D. Mahatma Gandhi. The correct answer is B, that is Jyotiba Phule. Exercise 147. Match list 1 with list 2. In the horizontal column, list 1 space list 2. Under list 1 in the vertical column, against serial number capital A, Dayananda Saraswati. Against serial number capital B, Raja Ram Mohan Rai. Against serial number capital C, M.G. Ranade. Against serial number D, serial number capital D, Jyotiba Phule. Under list 2 in the vertical column, against serial number 1, Satya Sodhak Samaj. Under serial number capital and serial number 2, Arya Samaj. Serial number 3, Brahmo Samaj. Serial number 4, Prarthana Samaj. The code in the horizontal column, capital A space, capital B space, capital C space, capital D. Under capital A in the vertical column, against serial number A2, against serial number B2, against serial number C3, against serial number D3. Under capital B, against serial number A3, against serial number B3, against serial number C2, against serial number D4. Under capital C in the vertical column, against serial number A4, serial number B1, serial number C1, serial number D1. Under capital D in the vertical column, against serial number A1, serial number B4, serial number C4, serial number D2. The correct answer is A, that is under capital A, Dayananda Saraswati. 2, that is Arya Samaj. Under capital B, that is Raja Ram Mohan Rai. 3, that is Brahmo Samaj. Under capital C, that is M.G. Ranade. 4, that is Prarthana Samaj. Under capital D, that is Jyotiba Phule. 1, that is Satya Sodhak Samaj. Exercise 148. Who wrote Vande Mataram? A. Aurobindo Ghosh. B. Rabindranath Tagore. C. Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. And D. Keshav Chandra Sen. The correct answer is C, that is Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. Exercise 149. Match list 1 with list 2. In the horizontal column, list 1 space list 2. Under list 1 in the vertical column, against capital A, Tevaga movement. Against capital B, Telangana movement. Against capital C, Kheda movement. Against capital D, Champaran. Under list 2 in the vertical column, against serial number 1, Bihar. Serial number 2, West Bengal. Serial number 3, Andhra Pradesh. Serial number 4, Gujarat. Quote in the horizontal column, again in the horizontal column, capital A space, capital B space, capital C space, capital D. Again under capital A in the vertical column, against serial number A2, serial number B2, serial number C2, serial number D4. Under capital D, B, under capital B in the vertical column against serial number A3, against serial number B3, serial number C1, serial number D1. Under capital C in the vertical column against serial number A4, serial number B1, serial number C3, serial number D2. Under capital D, Champaran in the vertical under D in the under capital D, that is Champaran in the vertical column against serial number A1. I repeat, code in the horizontal column capital A space capital B space capital C space capital D. Under capital A in the vertical column against serial number A2, B2, C2, D4. Under capital B in the vertical column serial number A3, B3, C1, D1. Under capital C in the vertical column against serial number A4, B1, C3, D2. Under capital D in the vertical column against serial number A1, B4, C4 and D3. The correct answer is A. That is under serial number capital A, Tebaga movement. 2, that is West Bengal. Under serial number capital D, Telangana movement. 3, that is Andhra Pradesh. Under serial number capital D, Kheda movement. 4, that is Gujarat. And under serial number capital D, that is Champaran. 1, that is Bihar. Exercise 150. Match list 1 with list 2. In the horizontal column, list 1 space list 2. Under list 1 in the vertical column against serial number 1, serial number A, serial number capital A, Bharatiya Janata Party. Against serial number capital B, Indian National Congress. Against serial number capital C, Communist Party of India, Marxist. Against serial number D, Communist Party of India. Under list 2 in the vertical column against serial number 1, Indian National Trade Union Congress. Against serial number 2, Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh. Against serial number 3, All India Trade Union Congress. Against serial number 4, Center of Union Trade Union. Indian is a Center of Indian Trade Union. The code in the horizontal column, again, in the horizontal column, capital A space capital B space capital C space capital D. Under capital A in the vertical column against serial number A2, against serial number B2, against serial number C2, against serial number D1. Under capital B in the vertical column against serial number A1, B1, C3, D3. Against under capital C in the vertical column against serial number A4, B3, C4, D2. Under capital D in the vertical column against serial number A3, B4, C1 and D4. The correct answer is A, that is under capital A, Bharatiya Janata Party. 2, Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh. Under capital B, Indian National Congress. 1, that is Indian National Trade Unions Congress. Under capital C, that is Communist Party of India, Marxist. 4, that is Center of Indian Trade Union. Under capital D, Communist Party of India. 3, that is All India Trade Union Congress. Page 13.32. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements. In this chapter, philosophers, personalities and scholars. Boucher Karl, within bracket 1847 to 1930, an important German economist, one of the founders of non-market economics. Burnham James, within bracket 1905 to 87, bracket close, an American political theorist, former communist activist, known for his work, The Managerial Revolution. Cardoso Fernando, within bracket 1931, a Brazilian statesman, Brazil's president 1995 to 2003, also a sociologist, wrote on dependency theory, most of his works written in period of exile. Drucker Peter, within bracket 1909 to 2005, an Austrian university professor, wrote mostly on management related literature. He made famous the terms knowledge worker and, within inverted comma, knowledge economy, challenged Marx's economics. Garsenkorn Alexander, within bracket 1904 to 78, a Russian-born American economist and historian. He advanced the Linus Stages theory of economic development, works Bread and Democracy in Germany, economic relation with the USSR, economic backwardness in historical perspection. Heward Gordon, within bracket 1870 to 43, bracket closed, a British statesman and a judge, famous for his new despotism, also famous for his saying, within inverted comma, not only must justice be done, it must also be seen to be done, inverted comma close. Hildegard Bruno, within bracket 1812 to 78, a German economist, critic of classical economists, especially Ricardo, also famous for economics of the present and the future. Engelhard Roland, within bracket 1934, a political scientist of the University of Michigan, director of the World Values Survey, wrote The Silent Revolution and also Modernization and Post-Modernization. Liszt Friedrich, within bracket 1789 to 1846, a leading German-American economist, developed the within inverted comma national system. Malthus Thomas, within bracket 1786 to 1834, bracket closed, an English demographer and political economist. Morrison Herbert, within bracket 1888 to 1965, bracket closed, an English statesman, a Labourite deputy prime minister, within bracket 1945 to 1951, bracket closed, works socialization and transport, looking ahead, parliamentary government in Britain. Of Claus, within bracket 1940, bracket closed, a leading German-American political socialist of Marxist orientation, a student of Habermas field of study, political sociology, democratic theory, social policy. Parks Rosa, within bracket 1913 to 2005, bracket closed, an African-American civil rights activist called by the US Congress as mother of the modern-day civil rights movement, famous for launching the civil rights movement when she refused to vacate seat for a white passenger in a bus in 1955. Previsk Raul, within bracket 1901 to 1886, bracket closed, an Argentinian economist known for his contribution to structuralist economics, also for dependency theory, center-periphery theorist. Rosto Walt, within bracket 1916 to 203, bracket closed, an American economist and political theorist, famous for his The Stages of Economic Growth, a non-communist manifesto. Simon Howard, within bracket 1916 to 2001, bracket closed, an American political theorist. He coined the term bounded rationality, bracket inverted comma close, satisfying within inverted comma the Nobel Prize winner in economics. Sombart Warner, within bracket 1863 to 1941, in bracket closed, a German economist and sociologist, wrote on economic development and social movements. Stein von, within bracket 1815 to 90, bracket closed, a German economist, sociologist and public administration scholar, a conservative and advisor to Meiji period Japan. Taro Sidney, a professor of political science, known for his research in comparative politics, social movements, famous for his book Power in Movement, New Transnational Activism. Tilly Charles, within bracket 1929, bracket closed, a well-known American sociologist, works An Urban World, as Sociology Meets History, Roads for Past to Future Social Movements, 1768 to 2004 Democracy. Torin Alain, within bracket 1925, bracket closed, a French sociologist, originator of the term, within inverted comma, post-industrial society, inverted comma close, a social movement activist. Valentinovic Anna, within bracket 1929, a Polish free trade union activist. Her ouster in 1980 was the event that led to the strike in Gdańsk shipyard and later the movement against the communist regime in Poland. Chapter 13, Bureaucracy, Development, Social Movements, page 13.33. In this chapter, key terms and concepts. Anomie, one that refers to the weakening of values and normative rules. Autarky, self-rule, also referred to as economic self-sufficiency. Bureaucracy, rule by officials, administrative machinery of the state. Caucus, a core group or political party with negative connotations. Dependency, lack of self-sufficiency. Developing countries are made to depend on the developed countries. Disarmament, reduction of armaments, a condition of peace when armament race is stopped. Division of labor, work organized in special roles, who does what in a productive process. Managerialism, officials characterized as managers in the field of administration, their rule as administrators. Organizing, opposed to a system of disorder. Red tape, bureaucratic procedure, needlessly time-consuming procedure, delaying tactics. Specialization, where individuals become experts. Technology, the application of scientific advance to benefit humanity. Underdevelopment, state of inadequate development. In this chapter, authors and books. Adam W.M., Green Development. Bitham D., Bureaucracy. Buchler Stephen, Social Movement in Advanced Capitalism. Crossley N., Making Sense of Social Movements. Dubé S.C., Modernization and Development. Eckstein, Susan 8, Power and Popular Protest. Elliott J.A., An Introduction to Sustainable Development. Kendall, Diana, Sociology in Our Times. Meadows D., The Limits of Growth. Peters Guy, The Politics of Bureaucracy. Scott A., Ideology and the New Social Movements. Taro Sidney, Power in Movement. Tilly Charles, Social Movements, 1768 to 2004.